All right, here we are, man. It's Big Daddy, and we got another Big Daddy and Friends show. And I have to say, our guest tonight is one of my favorite people, and we've been friends a very long time. We do business together. We've done a lot of things together. So, let me give you a little bit before I announce it. Anyway, even though all you viewers are seeing him on the screen, but for you listeners that are listening, we have Bill Guerin on with us. And let me give you a little bit of history, okay? He's a 4-time Stanley Cup winner. He's also, and I didn't even know this, Billy, but you have the most game-winning goals in NHL history. And that was, me looking up research and whatnot.
I don't think so.
Well, look,
we might have to fact check that.
I may, you know what? I may have to fact check that, but I gotta say, anyway, regardless, all you viewers,
I got a few.
Yeah, exactly. For all you viewers and listeners out there, everyone say hello to Bill Guerin. So, Bill, welcome to Big Daddy and Friends.
Thanks, buddy. It's great to see you. It's been too long.
Yeah, it's been a while. Obviously with everything we're dealing now, my frequent flying capacity has gone down extremely due to what we're dealing with COVID and everything. But hopefully next year I'll get out to see you and Kara and everybody. And,
yeah, absolutely. Can't wait to have you.
Yeah, check out a game. I get to Minnesota as well, because I got my boys over there at the Vikings that you had the good fortune of meeting over there, and I heard they gave you a welcome, a warm welcome when you got there.
Yeah, they absolutely did. They gave me a big tour of their new practice facility. Holy cow! They did not cut any corners. It's they've got a great organization, a great history, and it's an awesome sports town.
Yeah,
like these people, they love their teams, and we all between the four of us, there's even the soccer team, and there's women's hockey here. There's a bunch of stuff, and we need a championship. We need a championship soon.
I hear you. So what we do here is we sit down and we chat it up like you and I meeting at Starbucks or sitting in the locker room after a game. It's just let your hair down. I don't got much, yeah. But we can laugh it up, and we can let people know some things that people may not even know about you. And you want to laugh. All right, I might have fumbled the ball. We'll use it in my layman's terms on that first fact, but I'm going to bring up a fact that blew me away, and I'm going to share this with everyone out there. I did not know that you have Hispanic descent.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. My mom is from Managua, Nicaragua, and so I'm half Nicaraguan, and it's something that I'm really proud of, and it was something we really celebrated in our house growing up. My dad was from Worcester, Massachusetts. He met my mom just after college. My mom was in college, and my mom was at Ole Miss. My grandfather had a connection there. My mom was at Ole Miss during that undefeated season with that great team during the integration of the first African American student there.
Oh, okay.
And it's kind of funny, I saw that 30 for 30, the Ghosts of Ole Miss, and I was kind of doing the math, and I'm like, I think my mom was there. And I'm like, Mom, you never figured you'd tell me that story or anything? And she's like, I grew up in Nicaragua. We had this stuff going on around us all the time. It was no big deal. I was like, oh, that was pretty big. But no, she was a big influence on my life, and and also growing, I was born in '70, so like in the '80s, I was 10 and growing up, and there was a lot of turmoil in Nicaragua, and we used to go down there in the '70s, every other year or whatever, and visit. And in the '80s, all that stuff happened, so we had to stop going. But Yeah,
Mhm.
like I said, it was a big part of my life growing up.
Well, so tell me, how did it feel breaking the barrier? Meaning like, every hockey guy is
Yeah,
either Canadian, American, or, Russian or European, so to speak.
yeah. I didn't even know. I didn't even realize it. When somebody told me that, I was like, "You've got to be kidding me! There had to be somebody before," but apparently there wasn't. And um, yeah, I mean, when I started getting some, I guess people started mentioning it more and more attention. I realized that it was a really cool thing to be a part of, really cool thing to have done. And like for me, it was just part of growing up. Like I didn't really think anything of it. That's just the way I did it. I was definitely the only kid growing up with a Nicaragua patch on the arm of my hockey jacket.
I was
My
actually going to ask
my
you.
dad put that on
I was reading about that, and I'm like,
there.
wow, that must have been kind of different, but cool at the same time,
Oh yeah, it
'cause-
was like hat trick, Nicaragua.
yeah,
But it
exactly.
was great.
And you know what? And I can relate because, my father was from Peru and my mom was from the Dominican Republic. So for
Okay.
us, we grew up in Queens until I was a fifth grader. Then we moved from Queens to New Hyde Park, and we were like the only Hispanics.
Right,
But
right, right.
and so we stuck out like sore thumbs. But what happened, what helped us, was we were all three of us were good athletes. So I went to Maryland. My other two brothers played football at Hofstra, and you just kind of fit in with everybody, and you play.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
play three sports because it's a small school. So you
exactly.
know,
It's funny that you say that. My brother-in-law is from Lima, Peru.
no, and I was actually going to ask. See, this is how well you're reading. You know what? I should just hand you the mic and you ask me questions because I had that. I had that. That's why you're a GM. I had that down as part of my notes. I was going to say to you, now, Billy, you got a brother-in-law who's from Peru. My dad is from Lima. I've been to Lima about six times as a kid growing up. I've been
Right.
there. And but the $1 million question is, can you and I hold a conversation in Spanish? How's your Spanish?
Probably not. It's
Yeah.
not. It's not up to snuff.
and
I
I
could
know,
maybe
and I
I
know
could
your
maybe
daughter.
get by.
Yeah, and I
I
know
could.
your daughter's bilingual, right?
Yeah, I have one daughter is definitely fluent in Spanish. She won't admit it, and I think the other two of the other three could get by as well. My sister's kids are all bilingual, trilingual. But yeah, like my one daughter Grace, her she's a pre-med student also, but she wants to work in like a kind of inner city trauma unit to and be able. She wants to be able to communicate with the Hispanic community, and she's worked really hard at it. And I'm proud of her for that. And she's got more than me. Sometimes I'll try, and then she'll be like, "Dad, you're way off. Your grammar's wrong here or here." And I'm like, "I'm trying. I'm trying."
No, and you want to laugh. What I remember going to Peru and having, two different dialects growing up. My mom being Dominican and my dad being Peruvian. When I went to Peru, they would say to me, besides being as big as you are, we know you're not Peruvian. One,
Yeah.
two, you're speaking gibberish because that is not that is not the proper Peruvian language or vocabulary.
Dialected. Yeah.
Yeah, dialect, and I'm like going, oh my god, I'm just trying to get by. Be
So
able to,
a lot of my mom's side of the family lives in Florida, down in Miami area, and we used to go down there and visit. And it was kind of funny because everybody around the dinner table could speak Spanish. All the adults. I'd be with the kids and whatever, and everybody would be speaking Spanish, and they'd be singing songs from like their childhood and laughing. And then you got my dad over, at the probably put himself at the head of the table, and he's the Irish guy from South Worcester nodding like he knows what's going on. We're just kind of looking over there, making fun of him. Like, look at that. He's like, he thinks he knows. He thinks he can understand everybody. But it was great. We had a blast. Yeah, it was awesome.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. They know how to eat, and I'm to this day, I still have ceviche at least 2 or 3 times a month because I'm addicted to that food. You
Yeah,
know,
it's the best.
it's the best. And people say, "What is ceviche?" I'm like, think about it. It's sushi with lime juice.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
It's simple and not get into being a chef.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
anyway,
exactly.
um, so listen, I've been fortunate to follow your whole career, and being involved in the Olympics. And I think one of the greatest times I enjoyed was watching you was when you guys won the World Cup, and you beat Canada, and you some of my boys are on that team as well. Like Brian Smolinski and J.R. Roenick and so many guys, and it's like you always when you watch. I go on YouTube sometimes, and I watch some of that stuff because I really appreciate that era of hockey, and also when you know the guys, it even makes it that much more special. Where you want to watch, you want to you watch, you learn, you learn competitiveness, and you also learn how to win because you guys are all winners. I mean, especially you. 4 times. I've been to 2 of your Stanley Cup parties, so I know you're a winner.
Exactly. Those are the best ones. Those are the best.
Yeah.
But that tournament was, I mean, that was unbelievable. That was maybe the best outside of the Stanley Cup Finals, the best hockey I've been involved with, and it was just so. It was so fast, so passionate. It was dirty. It was tough. It really had everything. And it was just a great team. It's still to this day, we have a tremendous bond, with all of us from that 96 team. And that was one of the greatest times of my career. It was one of the most fun times and one of the most rewarding for sure. And it was just, I do say this because that Canadian team was incredible. They were just stacked. And they just came out with a couple of years ago. Came out with a documentary on that team and on that victory. And
I watched.
It was great. But to me, the graciousness of the Canadian guys and the respect that they showed us and how they kind of just gave us a tip of the hat after that, and it was that I think was one of the most rewarding things to hear about a team that you played on was coming from, some of the great Canadian players that we were battling with. It was really cool.
Yeah, that was. I watched that special where they showed the documentary, and then they showed the game, and that was really cool. And I remember I actually TiVo'd that, so I have it somewhere.
In the archives.
In the archives up there, but that was, and I got to see you guys play live when you were at the Garden. I remember you guys at the Garden.
I think we played. Russia. We played Russia there.
I remember that was. I guess the first go round.
I think we had a game against maybe the Czechs or the Slovaks, and then I think we played Russia there eventually.
Yeah, so that was again, being that I knew so many of the guys, it was like, you felt like you were watching your home team. And you are because it's America, so you Team USA.
Yeah.
So
what a wild bunch! We just had the best. They're just the greatest guys. We had so many laughs. We still do whenever we see each other. It was a wild bunch of guys. It was fun.
I can imagine. I mean, obviously, knowing some of them, I get the whole idea. Now here you are. You leave. You go from being a player. Now you're in management. So with everything going on this year, how hard was it with draft picks and free agency and all that with COVID?
You know what? It was difficult. But I've got a great staff, some really smart guys, some real guys that have been around not this type stuff before because it's never been, but like we were prepared. We were prepared for anything that came around, and we had to assume different things and prepare for different things because this whole thing's fluid. You don't know which way it's going to go, and so frustrated with the stoppage. Obviously, we understand why we had to do it, but then when we got up and got going again, it was fine. And then, you know, when we got knocked out, we come back and we start preparing for the draft like we do every year. And, you know, we were preparing for free agency like we did every year. The only thing was that it was just getting a little bit colder out, and it was just a different time of year.
Yeah.
But I think just being organized, being prepared for anything, and having a great staff that's all it takes. And I think we, you know, in the draft we did well. Free agency, we accomplished what we wanted to accomplish, and that's you know, that's the name of the game. And now we're in training camp right now. We're getting back at it, and you know, we're just pumped. We cannot wait to drop the puck and start playing games.
Yeah, and how does it feel to start in January training camp compared to September?
Yeah, it's I mean, it's definitely different, but I mean, you know this with the lockouts and work stoppages and things like that. We've been down this road before, and our league is so strong. Our you know, Gary Bettman and Bill Daly have everything under control. We have complete faith in them. You know, and the players are tough. They're tough mentally, and they don't let things like this kind of get in their way. They're just like, just tell us when to be there. We'll be there in great shape. We'll drop the puck and we'll play hockey.
Got it. No, that's you know, you got to tip your hat to the way you guys, you know, just the NHL with the bubble and getting everything, the playoffs through, and you know, the Stanley Cup was exciting and everything. I mean, kudos to everybody.
Yeah, they really did do a great job. And being up in the bubble, it was amazing. Like just the production, the time and money that they put into it, and even in the arena to put the screens up and the replay boards with the fans and everything to make it better for the players. And it was totally worth it.
Yeah, I had Barry Trotz on one of the shows, and he was funny because he said to me, he goes, "Well, Big Daddy, you know, we get taken to this bubble, and all of a sudden we're all in this one hotel, and then as you're going round by round, all of a sudden," he goes, "by the time we got to the third round," he goes, "I felt like I was in The Shining, where the little girls on the tricycle, in the hallway,
going around in the empty halls."
Yeah, where did everybody go? You know, and you know, there was no regular people in the hotel. So
we didn't make it that far, unfortunately. But next bubble.
Yeah, next bubble. So the way when he said that, I mean, he had me laughing because, and then he's like, "Well, then we win, and all of a sudden we got to fly all the way to Edmonton, and we barely get to the hotel. We got to play." And obviously, you know, game one, he goes, "You saw how dragging we were because we didn't have the extra time to rest."
Yeah, exactly. You listen, it was tough. It was tough on everybody. I mean, that was a mental. It was pretty incredible that we pulled it off like that. And I think the league and the players and everybody involved, just, you know, everybody pulled together. It was awesome.
So what's the outcome this year? Or the outlook? Meaning, like, is there going to be fans in the stands, you think, or still, you know, this year in St. Paul?
There's going to be fans where you're allowed. You know, we all have to follow, you know, local government, you know, guidelines and things like that. And you know, some place will have, you know, more than others. But I think we're all in agreement that we just have to do the right thing, you know, and it's not going to be perfect. You know, there are certain places that are more strict than others. And, you know, our message to our players and our staff and everything is like, guys, we got to deal with this. We got to be able to roll with the punches. It's not going to be normal, but that doesn't mean it's going to be bad. It doesn't mean it's not going to be worth it or mean as much. It's actually probably going to mean more. And we just have to deal with it. And, you know, we're all big boys, we're all professionals. So let's not worry about the little stuff that really doesn't make a difference. Let's just be ready to play.
Exactly. Well, all right. So now we're at the point of the show where I basically have the guests ask me a question that maybe you know me pretty well, so maybe there's something that you want to throw at me that I may not know or may not be able to answer, or I have to give you an answer.
No, and I thought about it, and I do. There's one thing that I really admire about you, but I want to hear your answer first. Well, there are a lot of things I admire about you, but there's one special thing about you that I think is key to anybody's success. So my question is, you have your hand on a lot of different things. You know, you're in insurance, you're in sports, you're in marketing, you do everything, and you know everybody. So, and you're an extremely successful guy. What is the one thing that has allowed you to be successfully involved in so many fields?
You know what I think? Well, actually, I you know, I don't want to sound like I'm coming off arrogant or, you know, better than anybody, but I think when I say I'm going to do something, I do it. And if I can't do something, I either find someone that can do it and can help me do it, or can help the person that's asking. I think that's what allows me to, you know, first I started in insurance, then all of a sudden here I get handed a mic and I'm on Fox News, and that was kind of came out of left field. I didn't go to school for communication. I was like, and then all of a sudden here I am at the Super Bowl interviewing people. Everybody's like, "Big Daddy, what are you doing with a mic? What are you doing?" You know, and it's just being at the right place at the right time and remembering where you came from. I mean, look, I met you when you were a New Jersey Devil, and we're tight, you know, we're friends, and I use that analogy with a lot of people where I say I knew guys that were equipment managers, especially in football, that all of a sudden 15 years down the road, one guy's a vice president of an NFL team, another guy's running Nike, another guy is, you know, over here. I'm friends with Kevin Plank, who started Under Armour. I went to his wedding, you know, so all those things I think is what allows me to be asked to be a part of things, and also when I do something, I do it 100%.
Yeah. And to me, what, like when I talk about you and when I meet common friends and things like that, it's your ability to deal with people and how you get things done, but you're warm, you're engaging, you're fun, and you build these relationships that last a long time. And I do. So let me ask you this: do you feel that because we're all doing Zoom calls now, we're all doing, you know, these you know, StreamYards, these media things, like, are we in jeopardy of losing that aspect of business?
I just think it's like going. We'll use baseball. It's like going from the wooden bat when we were like 5 or 6, 7 years old to the aluminum bat, and then all of a sudden you go from the aluminum bat, then you go back to the wooden bat, and that's what I think all this is going on right now. And the one thing I do think it will take away from, and it's funny when I say this, is having an office, because everybody, like if you see, even myself included, I have an office in my home. I don't really have to go into Manhattan to have an office on Park Avenue, which I have access to, but I don't need to, right, because of the Zoom and phones and laptops and iPads. I think that's really, it's obviously taking a bigger step, but at the end of the day, you still have to have face-to-face interaction, because you can only do so much on a Zoom or a phone call or an email. You know, you have to, when you sign a player, you're not going to really do that over Zoom, or you can, I guess, but when you go to recruit or look at kids, you can only watch so much tape, but you know that you want to get a live feel for a guy to see what their talent level is, how they act on the field or on the ice, off the ice. and ask other people around them what they're all about. You can't do that all the time on a Zoom.
Yeah, and I agree. And that's one thing that we can have meetings upon meetings and get on these different calls and be on the computers and stuff. It just, I'll never let that take the place of, person to person interaction. I just think it's so important that like us with our players, to be in constant communication with them, to make sure we bump into them on a daily basis. Me with my hockey ops group, make sure that we're in the office communicating, because we pass each other in the hallways or bump into each other, pop into each other's office. And that's when like great discussions like start. And it's just all from the human interaction. And I hope we don't lose that. And you know what? There's something to be said for, a boss taking his crew out for happy hour, or, doing stuff like that, being able to take people out for lunch, or, showing their gratitude in different ways. But you have to be in person to do that stuff. And I hope we don't lose that because of this.
Well, my brother Jimmy, who's a defensive backs coach with the Buffalo Bills, and go Bills, and they got a big weekend coming here now. The playoffs are starting, but he was telling me how everything has changed, from even when you're traveling on the road to, having these huge buffets where guys come in and, they load up, and now everything's in a box wrapped up individually, and there's no team meal. Everybody's eating in their rooms. And he goes, the best thing that happened to them was Christmas Day, they got a foot of snow. So they went to a hill that happened to be by the practice facility, and everyone went sleigh riding, and head coach included, Sean McDermott. They all went sleigh riding, and, everybody was cool and mask and all that. But that was their time to get together, bond. All right, here we go. We got, Buffalo is not Palm Beach, so we got to deal with what we got. And they made the best of it, but, and think about it. You're going to a playoff game, or before the playoffs, there's no fans, especially in that stadium, where that's a crazy town for football, and it rocks. My brother's like, you're just going out there. It's like a scrimmage, on the weekend.
It's different. It's different.
Yeah, it's a different world.
But those are the things that you can't, that I just don't feel we can sacrifice. Like those, if you're not in person, if you're not doing those sorts of, it's impromptu. Hey, we're going to make chicken salad out of chicken shit, and you just got to be in person for that stuff. So it's, those are, I think you're just such a people guy, and you keep your relationships. And I think that's one of the things, from the outside looking in, that makes you really successful. Fox News wants to put you on because you're that type of guy, and, people want to be around you. And I think that's really important to have that.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And means the world coming from you. We'll end on this. I'm hoping to bring the Big Daddy Celebrity Golf Classic back this June. I don't know, the way your schedule is. I don't know if it allows for it, but, you always have an open invite as my guest, because it's important. It's always, Oheka Castle's a fun place, and
you'd have to send your plane for me.
We'd have to send something. Don't worry.
I'm kidding. I got require miles on Delta.
No, I fly my VIPs in. Don't worry. It is on Delta. I fly my VIPs in.
If I could be there, I will be there.
No, I appreciate that. And again, I can't say thank you enough, Billy, for being on. And to all the viewers and fans out there, please make sure to watch the Minnesota Wild this year.
Absolutely.
Because I'm sure they're going to ripple up the NHL and bring a nice effect. And you know, we need some new blood in there. So, you know,
we're going to try to make some noise.
And I'm sure you will. So, again, to everyone out there, again, listening and watching, Bill Guerin, General Manager of the Minnesota Wild. And Billy, thank you again for being with me. And please send my best to Kara and everybody. And
I will, Daddy. Thanks, buddy.
Once this opens up, I promise, I never have a problem going anywhere.
No, I know we'll see you.
And I know, and you know what's funny? What came to my mind, and I'll do this real quick, was I remember when I went to Whistler to the NHLPA meetings, and I was on a bus with you. And I'll never forget that ride. But I'm like, oh my God, now I've been everywhere because landing and then all of a sudden taking a 2-hour bus ride to wherever we were going. I'm like,
we had to stop at the beer store first.
Yes, that's right. We definitely needed some refreshments. Yeah. So anyway, to everyone out there, all you viewers and listeners, thank you for being here and watching and listening. And till next time, from Big Daddy and friends, this is Big Daddy. Until I see you soon. Everyone take care and have a great night.